Hello, everyone. Welcome to a SIG Autoscaling meeting. It looks like today we only have a single item on the agenda. Um, I think it's yours, Patrick, maybe?
Yes, it is. It is mine. This is an issue that regards allowing overriding the HPA, what's it called? Uh, Tolerance. Currently, it's sort of a cluster-wide setting that's set to 10% by default. You can override it per cluster, but that's difficult to do, especially if you're running in like a cloud provider. And there's an issue raised to make that configurable per HPA. My question was sort of, I'm interested in working on this. This is something we'd find useful. I'm at Grafana Labs, and so I wanted to work on it. But the before I started, I was curious whether there was anything necessary from like a process perspective to align on a solution, or is this something that would be accepted if it was implemented? Because it's currently in needs triage. So I kind of wanted to see if there was anything needed to get it triaged.
I think in terms of it being accepted, and Guy, keep me honest here, please. Right? This would be an API change. So in general, to do those in Kubernetes, this goes through the cap process. So the process starts with writing a cap. I don't think there is any particular gate that needs to be cleared before writing a cap. However, a cap is a place where the discussion happens, and so the cap needs to happen before actual code can be accepted.
Okay. Okay, I wasn't sure because I know that the original change that introduced this, I think, was the more configurable HPA went through a cap, and this would be just adding like a thing to the API. I didn't know if that needed a full-on cap, but that's fine. I can start there.
My feeling is that at this point, I think adding any new field to API requires a cap, right, Guy?
Yeah, I'd agree on that. I think we're at the point where it's like it's V2 is stable, so I think even if it's just for discussion around like getting field names right and stuff, then I think the cap, as Maciek says, is place for discussion. So
Fantastic. Thank you.
Oh, I see in the meantime there is a few more items, and the next one is AWS provider review.
Yeah, so I was waiting on Guy. I think you're an AWS reviewer. I could like quickly share my screen and describe it, but yeah, basically there was a change in a prior version which introduced like a lot of extra API calls, like to this described launch template versions.
Yeah.
I have some graphs which showed it increased our main loop duration. And this was actually fixed over here, like in a previous PR, where basically we don't look for instance requirements if instance type overrides are defined.
Yep.
We're here. And then this PR just like completely got rid of that basically because it always checks for instance requirements. So my PR just adds in the check again to make sure instance overrides is empty.
Awesome. I think that makes sense. For me, just a quick tour through those. I will have a look at that probably next couple of days, maybe tomorrow.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Yeah, it looks fairly simple. I think yeah, the description I think covers all of it. So yeah, I don't immediately have any issues with it, but I'll just give it a quick look over and remind myself of the previous PRs, particularly the one that introduced the regression. So
Thanks.
Thanks for raising.
I think next one is also for you, Guy.
Yeah. Where did I open that in a tab?
In this week, if you have some time, so please take a look. That's a lot.
Yeah, I have memories of this one. I will try to make some time. I've got a few other PRs
Sure,
over in
sure.
HPA
Yeah,
ones that I
sure.
need to have a look at. But
Yeah, sure. And just want to ask one thing. When we have a patch release, like for 1.28 to 3.1,
yeah,
like there is one issue in the autoscaler, like one user facing some, like they have the images of the patch releases, but there is no such release in the cluster autoscaler. So that's why
yeah,
it's not
I
being read.
stuck a comment in the issue. That's on me. I got the images promoted, but
Okay.
life stuff got in the way, so hadn't got around to raising the actual releases with the associated release notes. So I'll get that done today / later on.
Oh, thanks for the information.
Yep, no worries. Thanks for raising.
Okay, there is no more topics written on the agenda. Does anyone have any other topic you'd like to discuss?
I do. I actually thought of another thing. One other thing that we've been running into is that the maximum for the stabilization window for an HPA is 1 hour. Is there any? I think in some issue I found that someone was asking for that limit to be raised, not the default, but the limit. And I think there was a response that the limits were sort of well thought through, but I couldn't find the justification for why it was set to 1 hour. So I'm curious if there would be any huge resistance to a proposal to raise that to something like maybe 3 hours. Leave the default as whatever it currently is, but allow higher values.
Have you got a links to those discussions you found?
Not ready, but I can pop them in. I'll pop them into the Slack, sort of raise this there.
Yeah, that would be
place.
useful. I guess my immediate take is I'd be reluctant to commit either way, without having sort of had a dig through the historical context as well.
Okay.
Yeah, intuitively, I think I'd consider metric availability, right, and like how reliable that is in terms of like kube controller manager getting restarted. Like those would be kind of the angle I would look at, and like I wonder if those discussions have any like are those particular points, like if this is, for example, driven by availability of metrics or some sort of storage mechanism we use.
Mhm.
But yeah, I agree with Guy. Like having some sort of additional context on this would be super useful. Okay, do we have any other topics?
I was wondering if there was going to be any like people going to the KubeCon next week, or if there's going to be like an in real life meetup for SIG Autoscaling or anything.
So I'm not going, and I don't think. Are you going, Guy?
No.
But I think Jack is doing a SIG update, and he'll be, I think, the main person from the SIG.
Yeah, there's a few others around. Some of the carpenter maintainers I think will be there, and David Morrison, one of the other maintainers of the AWS cloud provider, who I think he's talking at Rejects as well about some stuff in this area, so might be of interest to people.
Right.
Yeah, but in particular, I would look for the SIG update on the agenda. I haven't actually checked which day it is since I'm not going, but I know it's there.
Right.
Okay, so one more time. Do we have any other topics? Okay. In that case, thank you everyone, and have a good week. Bye.
Yeah, bye everyone.
Yeah.